The courtroom froze the moment she walked in, chin high, smile sharp, entitlement radiating like heat. She did not sit. She claimed the space, eyes sweeping across the room as if inventorying her property. Then she whispered it, loud enough for every microphone to catch. "My family owns this court." The bailiff stiffened, the audience stirred. Judge Judy lifted her eyes, and the girl's confidence finally flickered. What happened next, no one in that room expected. But before we get into it, tell me, where are you watching from? Drop it in the comments, and hit subscribe for more shocking courtroom moments. The silence from your hook hangs in the air like a held breath. Judge Judy's eyes lift just enough to acknowledge the girl standing before her. No nod, no greeting, just a measured pause that feels like a verdict waiting to happen. And in that stillness, something shifts. The girl's smile tightens. Barely. She stands in the center of the courtroom like someone posing for a portrait, not attending a hearing. Her suit is crisp, her posture sharper than her words, and the confidence she radiates is not the kind built through experience. It's the kind inherited, passed down like expensive jewelry and unchecked ego. The bailiff motions her toward the defendant's table. She does not move. Instead, she asks, "Can we hurry? I have lunch at the governor's office." Her voice floats through the room, sweetened by entitlement. She expects laughter or agreement, but all she receives is heavy, stunned air. Judge Judy sets her pen down. "You will sit," she says, calm as winter glass. The girl's jaw clicks. A small sound, but the kind that reveals a lifetime of getting her way. She steps back, slowly, as if doing the court a favor, and drops into the chair with theatrical reluctance. Papers rustle around her, crisp, immaculate, untouched. She has not reviewed a single page of the case. She believes she does not need to. Across from her, the victim stands quietly, gripping the edge of the table like she is trying to hold herself steady. Her hands tremble, not from weakness, but from years of silence. She glances at the defendant, quick, fearful, familiar. The girl pretends not to notice, but a flicker runs across her jawline, a tiny crack in the mask. Judge Judy begins. "State your name." The defendant leans back, arms folded. "You know who I am." A wave of whispers washes through the courtroom. The cameras shift, zooming in on the tension threading the air. Judy's eyes sharpen. "For the record, it is not a request." The girl sighs loudly, overdramatically, deliberately. "Fine, I am—" She stops. A sudden flicker of doubt crosses her features, like she realizes speaking her name in this room means something she cannot control. Her identity is her shield, her currency, her excuse. Saying it aloud makes it real, documented, evidence. Judy notices, she always notices. Her voice cuts through the air, quiet and lethal. "You walked into my courtroom claiming your family owns it. Say your name." It is not anger, it is precision. The girl's confidence buckles for a second, barely visible, but enough for the victim's breath to steady just a little. Enough for the audience to lean forward. Enough for the cameras to capture the moment power meets accountability. Finally, the girl speaks. "I am Charlotte Hale." Her voice lands heavier than she intends, heavy enough that even she hears the weight of it. Judge Judy nods once. "Good. Now let us discuss why you are here." Charlotte smirks again, but the veneer is thin. "Honestly, this whole situation is beneath me." Judy lifts a single sheet of paper, and whatever is written on it wipes the smirk clean. Charlotte's eyes widen, just slightly, as Judy says, "Then explain this." The paper in Judge Judy's hand has not even fully lowered when Charlotte shifts forward, trying to reclaim space she suddenly feels slipping from her. Her voice is sugary again, but the edges tremble. She knows what confidence looks like. This is not it. Judge Judy turns her attention to the plaintiff. "Ms. Reyes, you may begin." The young woman steps carefully into the center of the courtroom. Her breathing is shallow, her posture guarded, but something in her eyes has changed since Charlotte's name was spoken aloud. The truth is not on her side of the room by accident. She earned it. "My name is Elena Reyes," she says softly, "and I filed this complaint because the defendant threatened my family." The room stills. Charlotte scoffs immediately. Threatened? Please, I warned you. There is a difference. Elena flinches, but only once. Judge Judy raises a hand. Miss Hale, you will not speak until I ask you to. Charlotte sits back, lips pressed tightly in a slanted smile that wishes it were confidence. She taps a manicured nail on the table, sharp, repetitive, impatient. Her entitlement slithers through every movement. Elena continues. I worked as a volunteer for her father's outreach program. I thought the position would help my family. We needed support. They promised help with my brother's medical bills if I assisted with events. Charlotte rolls her eyes. And you got what you wanted, did you not? Elena swallows. No, ma'am, I got used. A ripple moves through the audience. Judge Judy leans forward. Used how? Elena hesitates. Her fingers twist around the edge of her document folder, crinkling the paper slightly, but she forces the words out. She told me that if I did not work extra hours for free, she would make sure my brother's application for aid got lost in the system. Charlotte lifts her chin. I was joking. You never joked, Elena whispers, and suddenly her voice is stronger. You said it in front of staff. You repeated it. You told me I should be grateful someone like you even noticed my family. Charlotte snaps. That is taken wildly out of Miss Hale. Judy's voice stops her mid-word, mid-breath, mid-performance. If you interrupt again, I will remove you from your own hearing. Sit still. Be quiet. Listen for once. A camera zooms in on Charlotte's face. Something flickers again. Fear, faint but growing. Judge Judy gestures. Continue, Ms. Reyes. Elena opens her folder with careful, trembling hands. I kept every message, every voicemail, every instruction she gave me to fix things quietly. But the worst part was when she threatened my father's job. Gasps erupt. Charlotte laughs, but it is wrong this time, too quick and too brittle. Her father is a janitor at one of our offices. I simply told her that loyalty is important. If he embarrassed us by complaining, Judy's brow lifts sharply. Embarrassed? By reporting mistreatment? Silence falls like a dropped curtain. Elena's hands freeze over the documents. Then she lifts one sheet, just one, with the caution of someone who knows paper can weigh more than stone. She steps forward and places it on the bench. Judge Judy reads it once. Then again, slower. Judy looks up, eyes narrowing. Miss Hale, why does this document contradict everything you just said? The sheet Judge Judy holds feels heavier than paper should. Charlotte watches her eyes move across it, and for the first time, her confidence does not just flicker, it falters. Something in the room tightens, like air pulled through clenched teeth. Judy lowers the document slowly. Miss Reyes, where did you get this? Elena's gaze drops to the floor. From her. She sent it to me after threatening my father. Charlotte jerks upright. That is impossible. Her voice slices through the silence, sharp and panicked, wrong for someone who believes she is untouchable. Impossible? Judge Judy repeats, calmly. Why? Charlotte opens her mouth, but nothing coherent comes out. The cameras shift to her face, smooth makeup, flawless hair, but eyes widening at the edges, the way truth stretches skin too thin. Elena speaks quietly. She emailed it at 2:14 a.m. I saved everything. You forged it, Charlotte spits, like a child throwing the last toy in her grasp. You must have. I never. Judy lifts a hand. I have not asked for explanations yet. The room goes still. I asked why it is impossible. Her voice is soft, but the softness is a blade. Charlotte swallows. Her throat clicks in the microphone. Because I deleted that file months ago. The audience reacts, gasps, murmurs, tension rippling like wind through tall grass. Elena steadies herself. You deleted it after telling me you would clean up loose ends. You said digital footprints disappear when your family is in charge. Charlotte slams her palm mildly against the table. I did not say that. Judy's eyebrow rises. But you did delete something? Charlotte freezes. The trap closes. I delete things all the time. Everyone deletes things. Not everyone deletes evidence, Judy replies. A pin could drop and sound like thunder. Charlotte's hand trembles now, the first visible crack. She hides it under the table, but the camera catches the movement anyway. She shifts her gaze everywhere except toward Elena, who stands still, protective over the truth she has carried alone for too long. Judy signals to the clerk. "Bring the folder." A man steps forward from the side, carrying a thick navy binder. He lays it gently on the bench. The room inhales at once. "That," Judy says, tapping the cover, "is the metadata log of Miss Hale's digital correspondence, subpoenaed." Charlotte's head snaps up. "Subpoenaed? By who?" "By the court," Judy answers simply. The color drains from Charlotte's face. Judy opens the folder. Inside, a cascade of printed screenshots, timestamps, and recovered deletions spills across the desk. A forensic trail of digital footprints she swore were erased. Camera close-up. Charlotte's fingers dig into the table's edge until her knuckles blanch. "Miss Reyes," Judy says without looking away from the pages, "the document you provided matches the recovered deleted file exactly." Elena nods, tears threatening but held back by strength she did not know she had. Charlotte exhales shakily. This cannot be real." Judy finally looks at her. "Tell me, Miss Hale, if you never sent it, why was it found in your deleted archive?" Before Charlotte can answer, the clerk steps forward again, holding a small audio recorder. "Your Honor," he says quietly, "there is something else you need to hear." The recorder sits on the bench like a small, unremarkable object, yet everyone feels its weight as if it could tilt the room. Charlotte stares at it as though it has no right to exist. Her confidence, once loud enough to fill the courtroom, wavers into a thin, brittle silence. Judge Judy nods to the clerk. "Play it." A soft click, then static, then Charlotte's voice, clear, sharp, and dripping with the kind of entitlement she denies possessing. "Fix it, Elena. I do not care how. My father's office cannot look bad because of your family's problems. Make it disappear." A wave of murmurs rolls across the room. The sound seems to stretch the walls, amplifying every breath, every heartbeat. Charlotte's posture collapses, not dramatically, but in tiny shifts, her shoulders sinking a fraction, her chin drawing inward, her gaze scattering. On the recording, Charlotte continues. "If your brother's bills are stressing you out, that is your issue, not mine. But if you want them paid, then be useful." Charlotte flinches as though struck. Elena cannot look at her. She focuses on the floor, on the truth she has held on to alone for too long. Judge Judy leans back, stone still. Her expression does not change, but the absence of emotion is worse than anger. It is disappointment sharpened into judgment. Charlotte finds her voice. "That is altered." Judy does not blink. "Is it?" "Yes. Obviously." Her voice cracks, too high, too fast. I never said those exact words." The recording continues, ignoring her unraveling. "You think loyalty is optional? Let me be clear, Elena. Your family needs this job more than we need you." The courtroom gasps. Charlotte sinks lower. Judge Judy lifts the recorder slightly, letting it catch the light. "Miss Hale, that is your voice." "It is taken out of context," Charlotte insists, clinging to fragments of control. "I was frustrated. She was incompetent. This is blown out of proportion." "No," Judy says quietly. "This is who you chose to be." Charlotte's mouth stays open, but no sound follows. The recording ends with a soft click that feels like a gavel slamming shut. Silence spreads, thick as smoke. Judy sets the device down. "Miss Reyes, did she know you were recording?" Elena shakes her head. "No, Your Honor. I recorded because I was scared." That sentence lands heavier than the audio itself. Charlotte's eyes narrow, not with strength, but with the realization that her own words have become witnesses. "So," Judy says, folding her hands, "you deny the authenticity of the recording?" Charlotte hesitates. Her breathing turns uneven, her gaze darting toward the clerk, then to the exit, then back to the judge. Yes, I deny it." Judge Judy tilts her head. "Interesting." She reaches for the Navy digital log binder again, flips one page, then another, then stops. "Because according to the metadata, Judy says slowly, voice dropping into a cold surgical calm. Your phone was in the exact location at the exact time this was recorded. Charlotte stares, frozen. And one more thing, Judy adds, tapping the page with a measured finger. There was someone else present, someone whose voice appears faintly in the background. Charlotte's eyes widen. Judy looks directly at her. Miss Hale, who was in that room with you? The question lands like a spotlight snapping on, sudden, blinding, unavoidable. Charlotte does not move, even her breath seems to hesitate, as if answering might reshape the room itself. Judge Judy repeats, slower this time. Who was in that room with you? The courtroom leans in, chairs creaking, cameras inching closer, the air tightening around the defendant's shoulders. Charlotte opens her mouth, but the words, like her confidence, refuse to appear. The clerk steps forward, placing a small printed spectrogram on the bench. Your Honor, the audio tech isolated a secondary frequency, a male voice, very faint. Judy scans the page. Miss Hale, you claimed only the plaintiff was with you. That appears to be false. Charlotte finally speaks, but her voice is thin, stripped of the coating of arrogance she usually wears. It must be background noise. Someone outside. A TV or something. Judy's eyes narrow. Miss Hale, you conducted this conversation after midnight. In a locked outreach office. Are you saying you were watching television while threatening someone? Charlotte stiffens. I was not threatening. That is not what I asked. Silence coils around them. Elena's hands twist nervously, but she does not look at Charlotte. She watches Judy, waiting for the truth to be peeled back layer by layer. She has waited months for this moment, months of being dismissed, ignored, intimidated. The judge taps the paper. This voice, does it belong to someone who works for your father? Charlotte blinks slowly, as though each second is a step backward from a cliff she did not know she was standing on. No. Then who? Her leg bounces once under the table. A rare tell. The cameras catch it instantly, zooming in on the tremor rippling up her posture. Judy's tone sharpens just enough to slice through the room. Miss Hale, I am giving you the opportunity to answer truthfully. Charlotte inhales, shakily. No comment. Judy tilts her head. This is not a press conference. You do not get no comment. Give me the name. Charlotte's lips tremble. I do not. Before she can finish, the clerk steps forward again, holding another sheet. Your Honor, we cross-referenced recent building keycard entries for the night of the recording. A hush falls. Charlotte's eyes widen. Judy takes the paper and reads it aloud. 2 entries, Miss Elena Reyes and Mark Alberts. A ripple of recognition moves through the courtroom. Elena frowns. Mark, he was one of the staffers. He said he was off that night. Charlotte's entire body tightens. He just stopped by, briefly. Why? Judy asks. Charlotte does not answer. Elena's breath catches. Was he helping you threaten me? It was not like that, Charlotte blurts, too fast, too loud. He is loyal. He knows how things work. He was just advising me. Judge Judy lifts a hand, restoring order instantly. Did he instruct you, coach you, tell you what to say? Charlotte looks down at the table as if the grain in the wood might offer an escape route. Her silence answers for her. Judy leans in slightly. Bring him in. Charlotte jerks upright, panic cracking fully through her composure. No, he cannot, he... The side door opens with a groaning hinge. Mark Alberts steps inside, eyes already filled with fear. The truth is no longer behind the door, it is walking toward them. Mark freezes just inside the doorway, as if the threshold itself has trapped him. His eyes flick toward Charlotte, quick, pleading, terrified. And the way she avoids his gaze tells the courtroom everything. Whatever he knows, she does not want it spoken aloud. Judge Judy gestures to the witness stand. Step forward. Mark's feet move reluctantly, scraping softly against the floor. He sits, wringing his hands, posture folded inward, like a man carrying a truth too heavy for his spine. The camera angle shifts to capture his trembling jaw, the sheen of sweat forming above his brow. State your name. Judy says. Mark Alberts, he whispers. Louder. He clears his throat. Mark Alberts. Charlotte finally speaks, her voice sharper than it has been since the recording played. Your Honor, he is irrelevant. He had nothing to do with… Miss Hale, Judy cuts in. You do not decide relevance here. Charlotte snaps her mouth shut, but not before the audience hears a brittle crack in her breath. Judy turns back to Mark. Were you present during the conversation we just heard? Mark's eyes dart again to Charlotte, seeking direction, permission, salvation. She shakes her head ever so slightly, a gesture meant to control, to silence. Judy's voice sharpens. Mr. Alberts, look at me. Were you in the room? The silence stretches. Then, yes. A single word, but it detonates across the courtroom. Charlotte's chair scrapes violently as she turns toward him. Mark, he flinches. I was just supposed to supervise the outreach files. She asked me to stay. For what reason? Judy asks. Mark hesitates so long it hurts to watch. His lips tremble, forming half words that die before they emerge. Then he finally admits, she said I needed to make sure Elena did what she was told. Elena inhales sharply, a small wounded sound. Judy leans forward. What does what she was told mean? Mark's shoulders fold even tighter. Miss Hale said the program could not afford negative attention. She said Elena needed to keep quiet about the irregularities. Irregularities. The courtroom reacts instantly, a wave of whispers cutting through the room like cold wind. Charlotte slams her palm onto the table. He is lying. He is only saying this because he is scared of losing his job. Judy's response is soft, deadly. If he were scared of losing his job, he would be protecting you. Mark's face crumples. I tried to, but things got worse. She told me to remind Elena what was at stake if she didn't cooperate. Elena's hands shake. He cornered me in the hallway. He said my brother's file could vanish. Mark closes his eyes. I am sorry. I did not want to say those things. But she… He cuts himself off, swallowing hard. Judy's tone drops to a cold, steady hum. She what, Mr. Alberts? Mark hesitates, looks at Charlotte, then looks away. She told me her family would handle it if things blew up, that I would be protected. Charlotte bursts out. That is not what I meant. Judy raises a hand, silencing her. Enough. Mark's voice shakes as he adds, she also told me not to talk, and that someone higher up would make sure I stayed quiet. Judy leans in. Who? Mark's lips part, trembling. He whispers, barely audible. It was not her father. The room freezes, waiting for the next name to fall. Mark's whisper hangs in the air like smoke, thin, drifting, impossible to grasp, yet impossible to ignore. Not her father. Two words that shift the temperature of the courtroom so sharply the audience seems to shiver. Judge Judy straightens in her chair. If not her father, then who? Charlotte's chair creaks as she leans forward, panic sharpening her movements. He does not know what he is talking about. He is confused. This is ridiculous. Miss Hale, Judy warns, sit back. Charlotte freezes, then sinks into her chair as if the command presses her down from above. Mark's eyes glisten with fear. It was someone else in the family. A ripple of murmurs slashes through the room. Cameras zoom closer. Even the bailiff stiffens. Judy's tone turns razor precise. Which family member? Charlotte's breathing grows loud enough for the microphones to pick up. Short, shallow, uneven. She shakes her head ever so slightly at Mark, silently pleading or commanding. It is impossible to tell which word she means. Mark swallows. Her mother. The room erupts, not loud, just sharp, immediate, a collective intake of breath that cuts the air like broken glass. Judge Judy raps her gavel once. Order returns, but the shock still vibrates beneath the surface. Charlotte's face goes pale. No, absolutely not. My mother has nothing to do with this. Judy fixes her eyes on her. Did you not tell him someone higher up would make sure he stayed quiet? Charlotte's mouth opens, but no sound emerges. Her shoulders tremble. A strand of hair slips from her perfect style, hanging beside her cheek like a crack in a marble statue. Mark wipes his palms on his pants. She said her mother handles internal problems, that if I cooperated, nothing bad would happen to me, but if I did not? He lowers his head. She implied I could lose more than my job. Elena's breath catches. The words hit her like cold water, confirmation of a threat she felt but could never prove. Charlotte slams her hands onto the table. I never said that. Miss Hale, Judy says, voice like stone. Your volume will not rewrite reality. Charlotte's anger dissolves into something more fragile, desperation clothed as indignation. My mother would never sabotage me. She is the one who always protects me. Judy studies her closely. Is that so? Charlotte's eyes flicker. A moment too long, a moment too telling. Judy turns back to Mark. Did Miss Hale ever say her mother directed her actions toward Miss Reyes or her family? Mark hesitates, but only briefly. Yes. She said her mother wanted the situation contained. Charlotte's breath hitches, a small, wounded sound. You do not understand. My mother, she fixes things. She always has. She told me to control the narrative, that is all. Judy lifts an eyebrow. Control the narrative? Charlotte swallows, realizing the trap her own honesty is forming. I mean, just keep things from getting messy. Messy, Judy repeats, like threatening a volunteer's family? Charlotte's eyes brim with panic. No, that is not enough. The word freezes everyone. Judy folds her hands over the binder. Her voice lowers, slows, sharpens. Mr. Alberts, did Miss Hale ever imply that her mother expected this young woman to stay silent? Mark nods, once, heavy, final. Charlotte stops breathing. Judy leans back, eyes narrowing. Then we need to discuss your mother's involvement, Miss Hale. The courtroom feels too small for the silence inside it, like the walls are holding their breath along with everyone else. Charlotte's mother, a name not yet spoken, but already reshaping the air with its weight. Judge Judy does not rush. She lets the tension settle, lets everyone feel the gravity of what is about to unfold. Then she looks directly at Charlotte. Miss Hale, she says, your mother's involvement is now central to this case. Charlotte flinches. Not dramatically, just a tightening around the eyes, a tremor in the chin. But in a girl who has weaponized composure her entire life, the crack feels seismic. My mother has nothing to do with this, she whispers. Judy raises an eyebrow. Then why does Mr. Alberts believe she does? Charlotte shoots Mark a look so sharp he recoils as if physically struck. He is trying to save himself, she snaps. He is lying to protect his job. Mark's voice trembles. I am not lying. Your mother called me. Charlotte stiffens. That is impossible. She called me, he repeats, quieter now, to ask what Elena had said, and to remind me that loyalty keeps programs running smoothly. Elena presses a hand to her stomach, as if steadying herself against some invisible blow. Judy's voice slices through the rising tension. Miss Hale, did your mother instruct you to control the narrative, as you put it earlier? Charlotte's lips part, but the hesitation that follows is fatal. Every camera in the room zooms in on her silence. Then she forces a smile, thin, brittle, performative. My mother advises me. Like any parent, she gives guidance. She does not dictate my behavior. Judy tilts her head. Did she tell you to make sure Miss Reyes stayed quiet? Charlotte exhales shakily. No, of course not. She would never. But Mark interrupts, voice trembling with the effort of telling the truth. She said Elena needed to understand the consequences of spreading rumors. Elena gasps. Judy turns sharply. Mr. Alberts, are you telling this court the senator's wife directly referenced consequences? Yes, he whispers. She said families who appreciate opportunity do not jeopardize it. A suffocating silence rolls across the courtroom, heavy, moral, cold. Charlotte's facade buckles. She would never say that, never. You are twisting her words. Judy studies her intently. Miss Hale, Sometimes parents hide their expectations behind pleasant phrasing, but children hear the real meaning. Charlotte's breath stumbles, a shaky inhale, a broken exhale. Elena watches her, not with triumph, but with something closer to sorrow. Judy leans forward. Did your mother instruct you to threaten this young woman's family? Charlotte shakes her head too quickly. No, she only said to take care of it. Take care of it, Judy repeats slowly. How did you interpret that? Charlotte's throat tightens. Words try to form, but none escape. Mark whispers. She interpreted it exactly how her mother intended. Charlotte whirls toward him. Stop talking. But it is too late. The truth is unraveling faster than she can contain it, and the room knows it. Judy's voice drops to a quiet, devastating calm. Miss Hale, we cannot move forward until you tell this court exactly what your mother told you to do. Charlotte sits frozen, eyes wide, breath shallow, caught between fear and betrayal. Finally, in a trembling voice barely louder than a whisper, she says, She told me to handle Elena, whatever it took. Charlotte realizes the protection she depended on was never real. The moment Charlotte admits her mother told her to handle Elena, a stunned, uneasy quiet spreads through the courtroom. Her breath trembles in the microphone. Her eyes flicker, not toward the judge, not toward Elena, but toward the door, as if expecting someone to walk in and save her. No one does. Judge Judy leans forward, fingers interlaced, posture carved from stone. Miss Hale, you claimed earlier that your mother had nothing to do with this, yet your own words contradict that. Charlotte shakes her head slowly, her voice cracking. I did not mean, she did not mean. Mother only gives advice, she does not, this is twisted. Elena's eyes soften despite the pain she carries. Charlotte, your mother asked about my brother's records. She called my father's supervisor. That is not just advice. Charlotte squeezes her eyes shut. For the first time she looks young, not powerful, not untouchable, just lost behind the scaffolding of a life built on inherited influence. Judge Judy continues, gentle but devastating. Miss Reyes, please step forward. Elena approaches, clutching another piece of paper. Her hands no longer shake as much. She is no longer the girl begging to be believed. She is the woman bringing truth into the light. Your Honor, she says, this is the call log from the senator's office. The number contacting my father's employer belongs to Mrs. Hale. Charlotte's head snaps up. No, she would never threaten your father. She was protecting our program's reputation. Judy lifts a brow. Threats made for reputation are still threats. The clerk brings the log to the bench. Judy studies the highlighted entries, the timestamps, the repeated calls. The evidence breathes its own narrative, one Charlotte can no longer outrun. Miss Hale, Judy says, did you know your mother called Miss Reyes's father? Charlotte's lips part, then close. Panic flares behind her eyes. She told me she would take care of it. I did not know she stops, her voice breaking like glass under pressure. Mark, still on the stand, speaks softly. She told me the same thing. Charlotte whips toward him with a wounded glare. You betrayed me, Mark's voice cracks. You asked me to protect you. But your mother, she told me to protect the family. Those were her words. Judy's expression sharpens. And you believed that meant silencing Miss Reyes? Mark hesitates, guilt thick in his voice. I thought, if the senator's wife wanted something contained, it had to be serious. Elena speaks quietly, the truth heavy but steady. You helped scare my family. You made us feel small, disposable. Mark lowers his gaze. I know. I am sorry. Charlotte's breathing grows ragged, as though every apology directed at Elena cuts into the illusion she has lived under her entire life. Judy places the call log down with careful precision. Miss Hale, this evidence shows that what you believed was protection was actually participation. Charlotte stares at the desk, her reflection fractured across the polished wood. Elena watches her, and for a moment, pity flickers. Brief but real. Judy leans forward. Miss Hale, did your mother act alone? Charlotte looks up, eyes wide, voice barely forming. "I do not know any more," she whispers, "but I think she wanted this to fall on me." Do you think remorse should ever erase guilt? Or does justice demand consequences even when someone finally breaks? The moment Charlotte whispers that her mother may have wanted the blame to fall on her, the courtroom seems to tilt, not physically, emotionally. As if everyone realizes the girl who entered claiming she owned the court is now standing on ground that no longer belongs to her. Judge Judy's voice softens, not with sympathy, but with precision. "Miss Hale, when did you begin to suspect your mother's intentions?" Charlotte blinks rapidly, as if her own thoughts are too sharp to touch. When the recording resurfaced, I asked her about it. She told me not to question where it came from, just clean it up." Elena's breath catches. She glances at Charlotte, not with triumph, but with dawning recognition. Two young women from opposite worlds, both shaped by forces larger than themselves. Judy leans forward. "Did you confront her?" Charlotte swallows hard. "No, you do not confront my mother. You follow instructions." A murmur ripples through the audience. The cameras close in. Charlotte's mask continues to splinter. Mark shifts on the stand, guilt pressing into every syllable when he speaks. "Her mother scares people, Your Honor, not with shouting, with silence." Charlotte turns to him sharply, pain flashing in her eyes. "You do not know her." "I know what she expected," Mark says quietly. "She told me to protect the family name, not you, never you." Charlotte's breath stumbles, her shoulders curl inward, as if bracing for a blow that never physically arrives. Judy studies her. "Miss Hale, is this the first time your mother asked you to fix something?" Charlotte hesitates, a different kind now. Not fear, memory. "No," she whispers. "It is not." Judy does not press. She waits, letting the silence guide the truth to the surface. Charlotte wipes at one eye, catching the tear before it falls. "When I was younger, she always said I had one job: keep the family image clean. Look perfect, sound perfect, be perfect. She said mistakes were unacceptable." Her voice cracks like fragile porcelain. Elena watches her, expression softening, despite everything that has happened. Judy tilts her head. "And you thought handling Miss Reyes was another perfection assignment?" Charlotte nods once, small and broken. "I thought, if I fixed it, she would be proud of me." Mark looks down. Elena looks away. The courtroom breathes as one. Judy's tone sharpens just slightly. "Pride does not come from manipulation, Miss Hale, and loyalty does not come from fear." Charlotte nods again, but this time slower. Heavy, as if she is finally hearing truth instead of echo. Then Judy asks, "Did your mother know you were being subpoenaed?" Charlotte freezes. Something inside her stops moving, her thoughts, her breath, her defenses. I told her," Charlotte says quietly. "She told me not to worry, that the court would never get what they needed." Judy narrows her eyes. "And what did she mean by that?" Charlotte hesitates for a long, aching moment. The whole courtroom leans forward. Finally she whispers, "She said the recording was supposed to be gone." A wave of shock sweeps across the room. Judy's expression hardens. "If your mother knew the recording existed, she may have taken steps to conceal it." Charlotte nods, trembling. "I think she did." Judy leans in, voice low. "Miss Hale, then tell this court how the recording survived." The answer will shatter everything. The question, "How did the recording survive?" hangs over Charlotte like a blade waiting to drop. Her fingers curl into her palms. Her eyes dart between the judge, Elena, and Mark, as if searching for a version of the truth she can live with. But this courtroom accepts only one kind. Judge Judy waits, unblinking. Charlotte inhales shakily, then whispers, "I tried to erase it. I really did." The words detonate in the room. Elena stiffens. Mark's shoulders slump. The bailiff subtly shifts closer, sensing the emotional temperature spike. Judy's voice drops into that steady, surgical calm reserved for the most important revelations. Describe what you did. Charlotte's gaze falls into her lap. The moment I got home that night, I deleted the message thread. I deleted my backups. I even asked our IT guy at the house to scrub my phone. Her voice thins. My mother told me I had to. Elena's breath catches. Your mother helped you cover it up? Charlotte looks up, and for once, there is no arrogance, no performance. Just truth cracking through the shell she's worn for years. She told me the recording would destroy our family's reputation. She said people like Elena look for handouts and would twist anything to their advantage. She said, "It was my responsibility to protect us." The courtroom murmurs. Judy raises a hand, restoring silence instantly. Your mother convinced you that silencing a victim was protection. Charlotte nods, a single tear breaking loose and streaking down her cheek. I thought loyalty meant obeying her. I thought I was doing the right thing. Elena watches her, pain and something almost like pity mingling in her expression. Judy's tone softens, not kind, but real. Miss Hale, loyalty is not obedience, and truth is not a threat to be erased. Charlotte covers her face briefly, regaining control before continuing. I did everything I could to make the recording disappear, but it didn't matter. Judy leans in. Why not? Charlotte hesitates. Her shoulders tremble. Her voice nearly breaks apart on the next words. Because the copy Elena has didn't come from her phone. Elena freezes. What? Charlotte nods slowly, tortured by the confession. Someone sent it to her, anonymously. I don't know who. I only know my mother kept asking if Elena had said anything to anyone. And when I told her Elena seemed calm, she looked relieved. Charlotte swallows hard. Too relieved. Judy narrows her eyes. You believe someone protected the recording intentionally? Charlotte's eyes shine with fear, not of punishment, but of realization. Yes, someone who knew my mother was trying to destroy it. She grips the table, knuckles white. Someone who wanted Elena to have the truth in her hands. Mark looks up sharply. Elena turns toward Charlotte, stunned. Judy glances between them. Miss Hale. Who else had access to the outreach office that night? Charlotte closes her eyes, as though saying the name will rupture something inside her. Then, a friend. Someone I trusted. Her voice trembles. She said she was worried about me, worried about who I'm becoming, who I'm. Judy's gaze sharpens. Give the name. Charlotte opens her eyes, glassy, devastated. It was my best friend, she whispers, and she kept a copy I never knew existed. The betrayal that redefines Charlotte's entire identity and unraveling. The courtroom absorbs Charlotte's confession with a stunned, pulsing silence. Her best friend. The person she trusted above every staffer, every advisor, even above her own judgment. Judge Judy rests her hands on the bench. Miss Hale, name this friend. Charlotte swallows, her voice trembling. Marissa. The name is small, soft, but it lands like a stone dropped into still water, ripples widening, consequences spreading. Judy nods once. And what role did Marissa play? Charlotte's fingers curl over the table's edge, gripping it like an anchor. She worked with me on every outreach event. She saw how stressed I was. She saw how Elena kept getting pushed around. Charlotte hesitates, voice breaking. She saw how I was changing. Elena watches her closely, her expression shifting between wariness and something gentler, something human. Judge Judy's tone remains steady. Did Marissa know about the recording the night it happened? Charlotte shakes her head. Not then. She found out later. I told her I was handling something important, and she pressed me until I admitted Elena recorded me. Her face crumples slightly at the memory. I expected her to help me fix it. She always helped me. She always stayed loyal. Mark looks down, guilt coloring his silence. Elena stands still, waiting. Charlotte continues, voice cracking wider. I told her I'd deleted everything, scrubbed it, and she just stared at me, like she didn't recognize me. She wipes her cheek quickly. Then, she asked what Elena had done to deserve being threatened. Elena lowers her gaze. Judy leans in. And how did you respond? Charlotte whispers. I told her Elena was creating problems, that I was protecting our family. A tear slips down her face. Marissa said protecting the family doesn't mean hurting innocent people. The courtroom holds its breath. Charlotte continues, words trembling but unstoppable now. She told me she'd stayed quiet for years, covering my mistakes. But she wouldn't cover this. She said, if my mother was trying to bury the truth, someone had to save it. Elena's eyes widen. She protected me? Charlotte nods. She said this wasn't about choosing sides, it was about choosing right. She swallows hard. I didn't know she made a backup. I didn't know she sent it anonymously. I only realized later, when my mother got scared, that someone else had the file. Judy's brows lift slightly. Your mother was scared? Charlotte nods again, a shiver running through her. She's only scared when she loses control, when the truth escapes her grasp. Mark's breathing hitches. Elena looks down, absorbing every word. Judy taps the bench gently, a sound like a heartbeat returning to rhythm. Miss Reyes, step forward. Elena approaches. Judy gestures toward Charlotte. This friend, Marissa, why do you think she protected Elena rather than you? Charlotte exhales a trembling breath. Because she saw who I was turning into, and she knew Elena didn't deserve that version of me. A silence falls, soft, reflective, almost sad. Judy studies her. Miss Hale, do you believe your mother wanted you to take the fall for this? Charlotte nods, barely. Elena whispers, Charlotte, why would she do that? Charlotte forces herself to meet her eyes. Because, she says, voice crushed and shaking, my mother has been covering her own mistakes for years, and I was her shield. Everything is about to unravel. The revelation that Charlotte was her mother's shield leaves the courtroom suspended in a heavy, aching quiet. Even Judge Judy pauses, as if recalibrating the emotional temperature of the room before proceeding, and then she signals to the clerk. Bring in the written statement. A soft rustle of paper follows. The clerk hands Judge Judy a neatly bound document, simple, unadorned, but pulsing with the kind of truth that doesn't shout. It settles on the bench with a weight far beyond its pages. Charlotte's breath stutters. She submitted something? Judy nods. Not your mother. She turns a page. Marissa. Charlotte's eyes widen, not in anger, not even in fear, but in something far more devastating. Realization that the one person she thought betrayed her was trying to save her. Judge Judy begins to read. The courtroom shifts into stillness, the kind that pulls everyone inward. Even the bailiff softens, posture lowering just slightly as the words fill the room. Charlotte is not cruel by nature, Judy reads aloud. She learned to be. Her mother holds her to standards she never holds for herself. I've watched Charlotte grow up in a world where mistakes are sins, honesty is weakness, and image is currency. Charlotte lowers her head. One tear falls, silent, unannounced. Judy continues, each sentence soft, but cutting. When Elena came for help, Charlotte panicked, not because she wanted to hurt her, but because she has been conditioned to avoid blame at any cost. She believes her worth is tied to her mother's approval. Mark closes his eyes. Elena presses a hand to her mouth. The next lines deepen the wound. I did not save the recording to punish Charlotte. I saved it because I love her, and I am terrified of what she becomes when she is trying to please her mother. Charlotte's shoulders collapse inward, trembling. This is not arrogance breaking. It is identity unraveling. Judy slowly sets the document down. Miss Hale, your friend believes you're a product of fear, not malice. Charlotte covers her mouth, choking on a sound she didn't mean to release, a quiet, fractured sob. Why didn't she tell me? She whispers. Elena answers before Judy can. Because you weren't someone she could tell the truth to. Not then. Charlotte looks at her, really looks at her, for the first time without the filter of power, expectation, or superiority. Their eyes meet, and something human, fragile, and painfully honest bridges the distance. Judge Judy taps the statement lightly. Miss Reyes, do you have anything to add? Elena steps forward. She isn't angry now. She isn't afraid. She stands grounded, steady. I never wanted to destroy your life, Elena says softly. I just wanted mine back. Charlotte breaks, not loudly, not dramatically, just a soft, collapsing exhale that sounds like years of pressure loosening all at once. Judy watches her with a measured, almost maternal steadiness. Miss Hale, this statement paints a very different picture of you than the one you tried to project. Charlotte nods, tears falling freely now. I know. Judy leans forward. So tell the court, what do you want to say to Ms. Reyes? Charlotte inhales deeply, preparing to speak, perhaps for the first time without her mother's voice shaping her words. She opens her trembling lips, and the courtroom braces, waiting to hear whether she will finally choose truth over loyalty. Charlotte stands there trembling, her mouth parted as if the words she wants to speak are trapped somewhere deep inside her. But before she can break the silence, Judge Judy lifts a hand, gently but firmly, shifting the focus. Miss Reyes, she says, turning toward Elena, you have listened to explanations, confessions, and defenses. Now, you get to speak. The air thickens. Elena exhales slowly, stepping forward, not as a victim afraid of power, but as someone finally ready to reclaim her voice. Her fingers unclasp from the folder she carried for so long they almost seem weightless now. She moves to the center of the courtroom, the light catching her face, human, tired, and braver than when she first walked in. She glances at Charlotte, who cannot meet her eyes. Then Elena begins. When you threatened my family, she says softly, I didn't sleep for days. My brother was in the hospital. My father was working double shifts at his job. We didn't have the luxury to fight someone like you. Every word you spoke held our future in it. Charlotte's breath quivers. Elena continues, her voice steady as she reclaims each piece of herself. You made me feel small, disposable, like my family's pain was just clutter in your world. I was terrified every time the phone rang, afraid it was more fallout because I hadn't obeyed you fast enough. Charlotte lifts her eyes. They are filled with something raw, something finally real. I didn't want revenge, Elena says. I didn't want money. I wanted to stop feeling like my family's dignity depended on your approval. A hush settles. Elena shifts her gaze downward, then back up, meeting Charlotte's eyes directly. But hearing what Marissa wrote, hearing what you've admitted today, I realize something I didn't see before. Charlotte's eyes shine, desperate and open. You weren't just trying to hurt me, Elena says. You were trying to be someone your mother could be proud of, someone she could use. The words land softly, but they strike deeper than any accusation could. Charlotte's face collapses into grief, not for being caught, for being understood. Elena steps a little closer, her voice trembling now, not with fear, with honesty. But that doesn't erase what you did. Pain is still pain. And you had every advantage, every resource, while my family had none. Charlotte nods, tears slipping free. I needed you to see us, Elena whispers. I needed you to understand that your choices didn't just inconvenience me, they hurt real people, they scared real families, they made us feel invisible. Judy watches silently, letting the truth paint the courtroom in somber human colors. Elena wipes a tear that finally falls. If you want to apologize, mean it. Don't apologize because you're caught. Apologize because you understand. Charlotte's breath hitches, one broken inhale, before she finally raises her head, facing Elena fully. Judy speaks into the silence. Miss Hale, you may respond. Charlotte opens her mouth, her voice trembling at the edge of release. She whispers the first word of her apology. And the entire courtroom holds still, waiting to hear the woman she decides to become. Before the verdict comes, ask yourself, Can someone truly change once the truth has broken them open, or is accountability the only real path forward? The single syllable, "I," lingers like smoke when Charlotte finally lifts her head, her eyes swollen, her voice stripped of lineage, privilege, and the armor she once believed unbreakable. The courtroom holds its breath, and then she steps into the truth. "I am sorry," she whispers, "not because I'm caught, not because this is embarrassing. I'm sorry because I did this. I hurt you, I threatened your family, I let my mother's expectations become my compass, and I stopped seeing people as people." Her voice cracks, but she pushes through. "You deserved better. Your family deserved better. And I accept whatever comes next." Elena exhales, a soft, tremulous sound carrying relief, sadness, and something that might grow into forgiveness one day, but not today. Judge Judy nods slowly, absorbing every word. The courtroom shifts its energy, no longer electrified with confrontation, but with solemn reckoning. The cameras capture it, but for once, no one cares about the lens. This moment is not for broadcast. It is for closure. Judy straightens in her chair. "Miss Hale, accountability is not punishment. It is the first step toward becoming someone worthy of trust. You cannot undo what you did to Miss Reyes and her family, but you can repair, you can rebuild, and you can stop allowing your mother's ambitions to dictate your integrity." Charlotte nods, wiping her face with shaking hands. She looks smaller now, but lighter, like a person finally stepping out from under a shadow too large for any daughter to carry. Judge Judy continues, voice firm but steady. "Here is my ruling." The courtroom stills. Even the air seems to brace itself. "Miss Hale, you will provide restitution for the medical delays and emotional distress caused by your actions. You will issue a formal written apology to Miss Reyes's family, and the outreach program connected to your father's office will undergo independent auditing to ensure no volunteer has ever again placed in such a vulnerable position." Charlotte bows her head. Acceptance, not defeat, settles over her. Judy adds, "As for your mother's involvement, this court will refer the matter to the appropriate oversight authorities. Actions taken in the shadows do not remain there forever." A tremor runs through Charlotte, but she nods again, because this time she understands that accountability is not an attack. It is a truth that finally has room to breathe. Elena closes her eyes briefly, relief washing over her. Not triumph, not vengeance, just the quiet restoration of her family's dignity. Judy turns to her. "Miss Reyes, you showed courage in standing up today, and compassion. That combination is rare." Elena offers a small, grateful nod. Charlotte looks at her. No arrogance, no entitlement, only a fragile gratitude for being seen clearly, even in her worst moment. With a final rap of the gavel, Judge Judy states, "Case concluded." The sound echoes, sharp, decisive, freeing. Elena exhales. Mark slumps back, drained. The audience begins to murmur, and Charlotte remains still for a long, long moment before whispering, almost to herself, "I don't want to be who she made me anymore." Judge Judy overhears. She softens, just slightly. "Then don't. You get to choose now." Charlotte nods, standing on unsteady legs, shedding the weight of generational expectations one breath at a time. And as she walks out of the courtroom, no entourage, no shield, no crown, the story closes on the truth she learned too late, but just in time. Power is borrowed, but integrity is earned.